John Price never came home. His wife was told of his death by friends on the front line who took a final oath before battle.
They'd said, this missing believed killed is torture for the women. If we see any of us 5 die, we will write and say, he is dead. And in fact, that letter there arrived before the telegram from the King.
The Great War took away many promising sporting careers. Although some of the Gloucester players came back, many never set foot on Kingsholm again.
And to bring it into context, you've been out to the pitch. That's the amount of ground that 11,000 men gave their lives for, the length of a rugby pitch at La Boiselle. All those men gone for the length of a football pitch.
I was homeless for a few months and I got into trouble with the law, so to speak, and I ended up at Amber through my probation.
I was involved in drugs and crime and everything you don't want to know about, basically. Yeah, it's pretty tough.
There was a lot of family history with domestic violence, things like that. I started getting aggressive and abusive towards family members, started drinking heavily. I was kicked out of my home at a young age. I was about 15.
I lost my mum in 2012. I did come here then, but at that time I wasn't actually ready to be here, so I left and I've been sofa surfing for nearly 2 years.
If you haven't had an easy beginning, if your life isn't turning out the way you'd hoped, if you're now ready to change all that,
put your legs up in front of you to defend the wall.
then a residential place at Amber could help you start afresh.
Anything else you like?
We wanted to give them a kickstart by offering some facilitation and action planning sessions. So we used a wonderful tutor.
Like a workshop sort of thing where we decided what we were going to do, where we were going to hold the fashion show, what type of clothes we were going to involve, who our models were going to be. That's really cheap because in Hollister that's 50. We went round the charity shops for our clothes. We all set each other different tasks, so you're getting an interview, you're getting children's winter range, and then we went from there.
I would never have been involved in something like this before, no. I wouldn't have thought I had enough confidence to do it, and I didn't think I had the time to do it really now because of my little girl and stuff. So I'm glad I've done it though.
We did have a few hiccups on the way, like a lot of people dropped out on us. Our main man model, our choreographer, all of our dancers dropped out, and we had to find a replacement within 24 hours. And we did, and we did it well.
A couple of campaigners say they've spotted a marksman in the corner of the field, about to shoot badgers in a nearby set.
Can you advise that marksman's worried us because he's clearly got a gun and a 4x4 and he hasn't moved. He's up behind those trees and we've been here quite some time and he hasn't gone.
You're all quite dark, aren't you?
Oh, he saw the torches. We made sure.
You haven't been up and spoken to him? Or
no, we stopped here. We didn't go
as
any
far
further.
as we can tell, the footpath goes straight over there and he's over there, so we'd be trespassing if we went over there.
The field is obviously attracting attention as a separate group of protesters are discovered close by.
What we're waiting on at this point in time is for our control room to come back with our location to see if they are actually committing an offence of trespass up here, in which case we'll take the necessary action against them.
Silver Command confirmed that everyone is on a public footpath, but with marksmen planning to shoot here, police need to talk to the culling company.
So the position of the colours has been compromised, so it's obviously up to them whether they choose to stay there now or move to a different area.
This is a victory for the protesters, and the large group decide to move on,
Should we get up right close?
with several police following behind.
Let's have a look at this one. As I unpacked the cases and saw one thing after another appearing, it absolutely took my breath away. Oh, look at this one. In your letter, you asked what sort of weather we were having out here. So it's quite a civil, it's a very English start, actually, to a letter almost, isn't it? Well, I'm sorry to say it's simply awful. While on the road away in the distance, one can see the field ambulance slowly passing along. Some going up empty to do their duty under the cover of darkness, others returning, quote, loaded. That's very moving, isn't it? Did they have a childhood then, or did that all have to go and they had to grow up?
No, I think the principal of the time, Lillian Faithfull, really believed that the girls should have a childhood, even though they were here under the shadow of the war. She very often had to break bad news to girls.
One day I heard the news of the death of a student's brother, and realising what it would mean to the sister, was so much of a coward that I feared to send for her. I need not have been afraid. An hour afterwards she passed me in the hall, and as I called her, she turned around, her face alight and smiling, and all she said was, "I'm far too proud to be sad."
There's always that pang, you feel that pang, you feel, why her, not me? I do have a survivor's guilt, if I'm honest, I do. You know, I shouldn't, but I do, you know, and I think she was a far better human being than me. And why her, not me?
You've got a massive double chin.
Why? What's wrong with that?
It's horrible. You're going to be old.
I am old.
Hold the camera up.
It's just the utter waste of it, particularly with somebody so young.
It's better.
You have a life together, you have a history together that basically becomes, you have to file away.